Hello and welcome to another Independent Finance Brokers Forum podcast. I'm PJ Patterson, the chairman of the IFBF, and I'm here today with Rahul Bakaya, who's the Chief Growth Officer for Connect 360. They're a new sponsor this year that's come into the IFBF. Let's start off, well, first of all, welcome.
Thank you, PJ. So glad to see you again twice a month this time.
I know. Two times in 1 month. How lucky are you, right? Or how lucky am I? Let's start off with Connect 360 and what you guys do and maybe what attracted you to come and sponsor and be part of the Independent Finance Brokers Forum.
Right. Starting from Connect 360, if I have to define it in one line, it's a retention tool that gives mortgage brokers actionable insights on who to call next. In one line. That's what Connect 360 does. Now, we have few customers as mortgage brokers in New South Wales, in Victoria. And one of those customers is our mutual friend Navjeet. He reached out to us and he said, look, have you heard about IFBF? And I was like, you know what? I have actually. But what is it about what you want to discuss? He goes, it's an independent organization and it's a room full of mortgage brokers where you can come as a sponsor. And then because I think your technology has helped us, myself and our business, I think what you are educating on the SaaS technology, the intelligence and the retention in the mortgage industry, it will help others. And I said, Navjeet, you had me at a room full of mortgage brokers. I am in.
You didn't run away. I love it. Good. And we're very happy to have you on as sponsors as well this year. And I think what you said there, the R word, retention,
yes,
is something that I know we have been really banging on about this for years in the broking space, about retaining existing clients. Why do you think that's such an important thing for brokers to focus on?
Well, that's a great question. The way I would answer it, I'll still take a step back before getting into broking, and I'll go like why it is important to have a retention strategy in any business. Now, I've been a marketer for close to 15 years, right? I started my career in Australia in R&PD, which is research and product development, as an engineer, and then moved into marketing. One thing, looking at the revenue side of the marketing business, we came to the conclusion that it is much cheaper and cost effective to have a better retention strategy than spending millions and millions on new customer acquisition. Because what the research tells us that it is 5 to 7 times more expensive to acquire a new customer as compared to retaining an existing one. And wherever I went, I was like, we have to have a retention strategy, because when you lose one customer, PJ, and this is very important, I want audience to know, when you lose one customer, you're not just losing one customer, you're losing the referral that customer will bring in, right? So it's 15x more loss. So that's why we thought retention is very important. Now, coming to the question of why we think retention is more important in mortgage broking business, if you look at the mortgage broking as a business, as an industry, we have few mortgage brokers, and they're all good, right? And I speak to a lot of them from Property Dollar as well, and from other businesses as well. It's my job to speak to my customers. The differentiator, being a differentiator in a mortgage broking industry, is getting difficult day by day, because the services that you are offering, you can only differentiate is in the way you interact with your customer. So I'll give you an example. So if I have a mortgage broker, audience is going to kill me for this. I have had 3 mortgage brokers in my property portfolio life. The first mortgage broker, I was very new, so I took whatever I could get, and he was a friend as well. But PJ, as you would appreciate that should never do businesses with friends. Then the second one was recommended to me. And this mortgage broker never gave me a call. The only time this mortgage broker emailed me when they needed some documents. And the conversation went like, don't you think it's too late? Don't you think you should have contacted me 2 weeks ago? Yeah, but I was busy. Do you know what I mean? And I could understand that because that was a one-person company. So I had to let her go from the portfolio journey. Then I met the third mortgage broker, which is my current mortgage broker, and I think he's going to be my mortgage broker for the rest of my life. He was so good. He will, while we were going through our home loan, he will at least give me a call 2 to 3 times a fortnight. Hey, listen, this is what's happening. There is no development, but this is what we are doing. So no update is also an update.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he understood that very well. Having said that, he had a team who would manage all the admin tasks, so he could go and maintain the relationship. And he had a team of very well quant people, did all the mathematics, etc. My loan wasn't easy. And after that, once I got the loan, etc., the way he handled that success spoke volume about him. He congratulated me, he congratulated my wife, took some extra mile. Then I was like, wow, what a good businessman. I didn't treat him as mortgage broker. I just, what a good businessman. I want to do more business with him. So you know what I did? I gave him 3 more clients. And he didn't ask for it. He never said, can you refer me to someone else? I gave him 3 clients. And after giving him 3 clients, he told me, hey, you know what, Rahul? My specialization is more in downsizing, just to let you know. But I serviced all of the 3 clients. So importance is that if he would have lost me, he would have lost 3 more clients. And the way to differentiate yourself in this busy market is how you deal with your existing customers. That's why we thought retention was the utmost important thing for at least mortgage brokers. I know that is a long answer, but I hope that answers the question.
It's a great answer. There's a lot to actually unpack there, and I think there's a few things maybe even to highlight in that response that you gave me, which is, first of all, communication is a key aspect of being a really good mortgage or finance industry professional, and letting your clients know. And as you said, even if it's sometimes calling and just saying, look, I don't have an update for you, but letting you know we're on it, gives you that, or gave you clearly that comfort level that my team, the people that I've engaged to do something for me, are doing it. And then I guess secondly, to your point now, we're going to really get more deep into the retention aspect, is that with retention, it is far easier to retain a client, or sorry, better I should say, not easier, better to retain a client from a P&L or a profitability point of view than to try to go find new business. And we both know that the saturation level in the mortgage industry has now reached between 75 and 80%. So there's not much more upside, I suppose, in terms of attracting new clients. So we have to really look after what we currently have on our book, because if they go away, to your point, we lose the referral opportunity, we lose the ongoing revenue, and of course, something that I'm passionate about is other services, but that's not the subject of this particular podcast. So why don't we get then deeper into the retention side of things and how Connect 360 enables that for brokers. So tell us about the technology and your platform and all of that. How does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question again, PJ. So before I get into the technology, so in our marketing and in sales world, we follow a methodology called the PAS technique, which is problem, agitate, solution.
PAS.
PAS, so problem, agitate, solution.
Got it.
So what is the actual problem? How is it going to agitate you in your daily life? And what is the actual solution? So we spoke to a lot of mortgage brokers, and we identified that there are 5 silent killers of mortgage broking revenue. 5 silent killers. I wrote some notes for this one as well, because I have a habit of forgetting things.
Quite all right. 5, so just...
5 silent killers.
Yep, okay. Let's hear silent killer number 1.
Is client amnesia. amnesia.
Client amnesia.
So clients don't have a responsibility to remember you. You have a duty to make sure that client remembers you.
I like that.
Right? That's client amnesia. Number two is currently most of the mortgage brokers don't have a system for retention. There's no system. There may be a CRM, which is a different thing. CRM is accumulation of data, but retention is something else. Retention is data telling you how you should contact this particular person tomorrow. That kind of insight. Number three was, even if they have data, it's locked in silos. So it's locked and it's in silos. So locked can be, you need a little bit of more data science kind of talent to get that data out. And it's in different places. So you have to match that data. Number four is, there are zero upsell triggers from that data. Even if I give you 1,000 rows of data, how would you know what you will upsell? And number five is, and it is very important, and it is a bit of a sales but philosophical, is being reactive than being proactive.
Being reactive and then being proactive.
Being reactive, then proactive. This is my Indian genes kicking in.
No, I think I get it. You're saying that, I think if I can paraphrase that, it's you're reacting to something, whatever a client is leaving you, for example, and then all of a sudden you're proactive. The reactivity triggers the proactivity, and it should be the other way around, 100%. I think is probably what you're saying.
Think about this, and being reactive rather than proactive. You know why this hurts the most? When you lose your client, when you don't have a retention strategy, you know why it hurts? Well, I'll give you an example. This is a very funny example. And this happened to me early in my career, and you can draw the parallels. Early in my career, I used to work in corporate, and I worked really hard for this campaign. It was a business-to-business campaign, marketing campaign. Did all the research, everything. Created the workflows, created the comms out, created the social media strategy, and the colleague comes in, takes the campaign, puts his name, and marketed it, right? What I didn't do there is influence other people that I am doing this campaign. This is my baby. This is my plan. Typical corporate thing you would know, right? How does that feel? When someone takes something from you where you have worked so hard, how does that feel? That's what lack of retention does. If you worked so hard on an application, spent hours and hours in creating that application, negotiating with 5 banks, getting you best interest rate, the client stays with you for 6, 7, 8 months, a year, someone else comes in, offer 0.5% better interest rate, takes them away. How does that feel? That's where this comes, that being reactive rather than proactive. Because if you were proactive, if you knew the data points, that wouldn't have happened. Right? That's where Connect 360 came in. Now, Connect 360 gives you a dashboard. I'm not sure, later in the podcast we can showcase what the dashboard looks like, but what the dashboard tells you, it gives you a bird's eye view of your loan book or back book. And it can tell you a lot of things, but I'll pick up a few important things. One can be, who is on a bad interest rate? Say, for example, who is on high 6s right now? There may be 3 people, 4 people in your loan book who is on high 6s. Let's contact them today. Hey, listen, I thought to give you a call today. I can offer you a better interest rate. Are you keen? Are you interested? Let's have a talk. Right. The second one can be around equity. How much equity have you built? Oh my God, I can see that you did the loan with me, the property you bought, etc. Now I can see there's a workable equity of $200,000. Would you like to refinance? Are you thinking of buying another property? Do you already have a real estate agent, etc., etc. The third thing that you can look at is how your loan book is distributed. So how many loans are you doing with ANZ? How many you're doing with CBA? How many you're doing with Westpac? And then you can go like, oh my God, I'm heavily invested with one bank. I think I should diversify. Those kind of things. And there are more things that can give you trigger points that you can pick up a call and get in touch with your customers. Now, there are a few folks, just like one of our common friends, Manjit, what he also did, and other customers who we have been dealing with, they do is they go a step further. From retention, they go to nurture. So they offer Property Dollar, which is our app, consumer app, to their customers with their co-branded, right? So this is me, I'm doing, say for example, IFBF loan, I'll have the IFBF logo on the app itself, and I'll give you that app so you can track your property portfolio in real time. And guess what? In that particular app, who is the first contact for mortgage broking? Me. So if anything happens, you call me. I am your mortgage broker. I am your friend. So that's how we try to keep bulletproof retention strategy for mortgage brokers.
That was an awesome answer to that question. And there's a few things I want to pick up on because I think it's worth repeating and even delving into a bit more. And so your second and fourth silent killers, no system for retention, which you've just talked about, having a system for retention and using Connect 360 and Property Dollar as well to have that system, and then the not having an upsell trigger, which is really what you're describing there. For example, if you had let's pick up on that very last thing you were talking about where someone has created equity, and let me just paint a picture for you and you can tell me how your product helps the broker with that particular issue. So let's say I'm declared, you're my mortgage broker, and I've declared to you I want to build a property portfolio. You say, fantastic, I'm happy to help you do that. And you have all this stuff in place, and you can see that my principal place of residence, which I'm using for additional equity to grow my portfolio, is going up in value. So take it from there and walk through the scenario of how Connect 360 and Property Dollar enables you as the mortgage broker to help me, and what you would be doing to reach out and help me.
Yep, so we follow a 4-step process in this one. So step 1 is capture, step 2 is analyze, step 3 is engage, and step 4 is convert. So capture, analyze, engage, and convert.
Convert, yeah.
Convert, right? So we call it the retention flywheel.
Okay.
So they're part of the flywheel, right? So you have to have strategy for each one. I can give you a tool, but if you don't know how to use it wisely, it's not going to give you the result, right? So we follow this 4-step. Now in capture, once you upload your loan book, now a lot of mortgage brokers we deal with get the questions that, is it going to be okay with my other systems that I have? And Connect 360 is completely independent of the other systems. You can have connections, etc. We don't care about that. We just care about giving you the retention revenue. So you capture, and I'll take one example of the dashboard that we picked in, which is equity. So step 1 is capture who are your high equity clients. Now you define what is high equity, right? High equity is $500,000. High equity is also $200,000, right? So you define what is high equity. If you define what is high, if there are people who have current workable equity of 200,000, say for example, in their property, then you go into analyze. So you go, how many of those are there? Let's say there are only 2 people, a phone call would do. There are 20 people, and you are 1-person business. I would rather suggest you have some sort of email campaign attached to it. So that's the analysis part as to how many people are there and how you're going to communicate with them. Then comes the engagement part, which is straightforward. And sometimes for few mortgage brokers, we have helped them with the script as well and helped them with a copy of the email as well. We go that deep. So with engagement, you can reach out to them because this is all the knowledge and data that has been shared with the mortgage broker from the client's permission only, right? So we are not invading any privacy over here. And you reach out to them, you say, hey, listen, you did bought this property a while ago, and right now I can see you're on this interest rate. We can do something better over there, but while we do that, I want to help you understand that you have earned this much equity. Are you aware of that? Now, if that's a savvy investor, you go like, yeah, of course. Yeah, what can you do? If it's not a savvy investor, and the data suggests that majority of the investors are 1 or 2 properties, right? People owning 5 properties, the percentage is very less, right? So they take us, okay, wow, okay, what can I do with that equity? Are you planning to buy another property? Yes, maybe I'm talking to someone in real estate. I'm speaking with a buyer's agent. Okay, why don't I help you with qualifying you for another loan or refinancing your loan so you have, say, for example, a pre-approval so you can shop better, right? And that's where you engage, and then you convert. You do your proper due diligence, proper mortgage broking process. So those are the 4 steps we recommend all the mortgage brokers using Connect 360 to follow. Now, you don't have to use Connect 360 so long as you're doing this whole process, so long as you have access to data, right? There may be tools that you're already using, which may be better than Connect 360, to be honest, but Connect 360, difference between Connect 360 and other tool, PJ, is that we are purely focused on revenue. Our primary goal is to give you revenue. I'll share you with an example coming from a tech background. What does that mean? You use Teams, Microsoft Teams. Mm-hmm. Does that give you revenue straight away if you put a chat?
No.
But secondary, tertiary, it will give you revenue because you are increasing the performance of your team. You can speak and listen anytime, and the things get done quickly, and then you have more revenue opportunities. Connect 360, day one, you see the loan book, you know where the revenue opportunity is. That's the difference.
And that's a really powerful tool to have plugged into your business, is to be able to spot opportunity. And I'm a big believer in having your opportunity radar out all the time. And, and I don't think we can harp on this enough during this podcast, which is retaining existing clients and helping them achieve their goals is going to be easier because you've already built the relationship and will cost you less than trying to go out and find a new one. So back to the example that we were talking about in that previous segment where, again, you've got the broker hat on, so you're my broker, and I'm your client, and I'm an investor. And I've declared to you that I'm a property investor and I want to build a property portfolio. And so I just want to run through this so that I'm clear and our listeners are clear. What Connect 360 will do is it will, and the property dollar tool, is that it will, first of all, see what my loan balance is. It will be able to do evaluation, I presume, on my property every however often. And it will flag to you as my broker, PJ now has, let's just make up a number, $500,000 of equity. He's ready to go again. And I know that he wants to buy more property. He's now got this equity. I need to reach out to him and say, hey, I need to update you on your equity. Maybe even it tells me that my interest rate's a little bit too high and we have a refinance opportunity, whatever. But it's an enabler to enable me or you as the broker to offer value-add services and bring awareness to my client, your client, in this case me, of what's possible. Is that a good synopsis of summary of how the products interact and should be used?
That's how I would put it. Yes,
great.
It is. And look, I'll give you an example as well. And it's a funny story. I mean, PJ. So, and I'm not making this up. Swear to God, I'm a religious man. I'm not making this up. So yesterday I got a call from. Remember, I said I had 3 mortgage brokers in my life. I got a call from my second mortgage broker, who literally screwed up my loan once. And the BDR called me, not the actual mortgage broker. The BDR called me and said, look, I'm calling from so-and-so company. Do you have a second? I said, of course, yeah, what is it? And he was like, look, I can see that your interest rate right now is this percent. And you have that much loan. And I can see you have your other property on sale. Like, okay, Einstein, how did you get to know that? How did you know that? And I was like, oh, it was simple. And look, it was blessing in disguise that this conversation, you could pick up so many things. It was like, oh, look, it was easy. What I did, so we have all the information about your loan. We're going through all the client list and giving them a call, saying that if we can do something better. I said, no. How did you know that I'm putting my property on sale? Other property. The loan is not from you. Oh, yeah. So, obviously we can go through, they might have some system where I own another property, I have another loan, and they said, we saw that, and then we went into Cotality, which is now CoLogic, and then CoLogic, we put in the address, and we saw there, it's on sale right now, and then we thought, if you're selling this, you're obviously looking to buy something else. And if you want to buy something else, we are here to help you. I'm like, okay. And I said, do you know why I left this mortgage broker? He goes, no. Does your CRM tells you that? I said, no. So why are you spending money on CRM if we can't tell you why did you lose me? But having said that, this person, to get all that insights, imagine, PJ, how many tools did he use?
Probably
3 or 4 on
yeah,
average.
I was going to say maybe
3 or 4, and the amount of money he would have to spend to just get that kind of insight, right? All that insight is available in Connect 360. I mean, you can literally start with $39 a month. That's what your 5 coffees, 4 if you do almond milk. So that's how accessible and easy it is.
And were you, I mean, obviously you were very intrigued by that phone call. Were you impressed at all about that organization having done that?
Yes, that's why I talk so nicely. I forgot all my bad experience, and I was like, you know what? I told him, you know what? You're very good. Let me know if you're looking for a job in future. You're very good. I was very impressed that he took time and went through multiple data sources and then clubbed everything together, integrated all that information, created a postulate, picked up the phone and gave me a call. Takes guts.
Yeah. So that's the aspect that really impressed you, was that they rang you with all that information,
Yeah.
regardless of how they put it together, and said, hey, let's have a conversation about what you're doing. Which is really impressive, I think. And that, again, this discussion really is about retention and how brokers and finance professionals can offer more to their clients with some basic tools. And you just highlighted, we'll get into this, the costing of the tools. But with some basic tools and a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a little bit of effort. Not a huge amount. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on marketing campaigns and Google ads and Facebook ads. You can invest at a minimum $40 a month in this product.
Yes.
Yep. Get some data, and then obviously you've got to analyze it and do something with that data. But then just make a phone call. And how much does that cost? 3 cents or something to make a phone call.
That's it.
And you might have another loan.
That's it. So just to give you a little bit of data, again, PJ, I forget things, so I have to think about the data that I'm going to quote. I can't quote names, obviously, but I shared in my last presentation at the event, I shared Josh's story. Josh is obviously a fake name, but the client is real, where after uploading everything on Connect 360, in 5 minutes, Josh knew who he has to call next. And he got 44,000 worth of commissions just by doing that, right? Now, he can take 22K and put a Facebook ad, I don't care. But it only took him, $39, $40 to get to that particular, imagine the ROI on that. And including everything, we have a few clients, around 40 to 50 clients right now. And with Connect 360, on average, they have done 60 million worth of new loans. I wouldn't say it's new loans, but obviously it's with current customers. So there are numbers around the success. There are people who have done retention quite well, and we have examples. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's an amazing example. 44,000 of commission simply by identifying who to call next. And so let's talk about that who to call next statement. and how Connect 360 positions that. So what does that mean? When you say who to call next, what does it do? How does it do that? What does that mean when you say who to call next?
Yeah, so when it comes to, so I'm from a tech background and I'm a marketer, right? The way a mortgage broker's brain work, I'm a novice. Our mortgage brokers work really hard. They are smart people. They're a smart bunch of people. I think they're just overworked, right? I think they don't have systems where they can organize things quickly, things taken care of for them. But what happens if they get access to information that is already analyzed? They don't have to do any analysis now. Things are already analyzed for them. And if they look at someone who is on a bad interest rate, and for some reason, it's, say, for example, it's 6.25% for an investment loan. And I think, and my mortgage broker friends can correct me, right now you can get something around 5.8, right, with the interest rate cuts. So it then comes to the wisdom of mortgage brokers to say, okay, that is something really bad, right? I really need to help that customer like now, right? They can pick up the phone, have the same sort of script like, hey, listen, as your mortgage broker, it's my responsibility. How are the kids doing? You know, how's everyone doing? But I saw your loan right now, and it is on a high 6.2%. We can bring it back to 5.8%, and that would mean that you would have extra $200, $300, $400 a month. Now, that can also increase your borrowing capacity. It would, right? So there's more cash flow because bank looks at cash flow, right? So you have more cash flow now. Is that something you would be keen in, right? Yeah, of course, sure. Show me the numbers and we can talk about it. So there's a business opportunity there. But the wisdom on how to choose the conversation will totally depend on the relationship between the mortgage broker and the customer, right? I'll give you an example. I was speaking to this mortgage broker and he gave me a very good example. It was like, you know what, there are certain customers, and this is a real use case, right? There are certain customers who I want to speak again and again. There are certain customers who I don't want to speak again, right? Because there was so much difficulty for getting them a loan because they were hiding information from me. And it happens, you would know, right? They're hiding information from me. They had other undisclosed debts, some gambling issues, etc., etc. And I had to go to bank because it came to me, I didn't want to deny everything. And then I managed to get them a loan at, say, for example, 6.3%. They're going fine. But then it comes to the wisdom of mortgage brokers saying that, do I want to retain that customer just because he's on 6.3%? So wisdom plays a big part. And in the end, mortgage broker is the boss. Like, I don't want to return this guy. I want to retain this guy. Yeah. So.
And so you said you made a statement there, which was the information is already analyzed. And so that's the information within the Connect 360 platform. It's already analyzed. Can you just elaborate on what that means?
I'll give you an example.
Please.
So I've come from tech industry before this, right? And I was in tech industry when there was data boom. Now it's AI boom. So pre-COVID it was data boom. So all the tools for data, analyzing data, creating dashboards, they were making money, PJ. Making money. The Wall Street, everything, the tech boom, everything. So a lot of people made a lot of money. I digress. But what used to happen when we used to market that data tool, so it will take data from sporadic sources, combine it together, and then showcase you in some sort of dashboard, right? So pre-Connect 360, if I would say, or pre-AI era, if you were, Salesforce, right? Something like Salesforce, something like a CRM, etc. If you have a CRM and you wanted an analytics like Connect 360, you would have to pay a subscription for Tableau. So Tableau is another analytics software, or maybe Power BI, which comes with Microsoft subscription. and then you connect that with your CRM system. But that's not the end. Now you need to extract that data, and then you need to transform that data, and then you need to label it and put it on dashboard. In tech industry and data industry, we call it ETL. Right? Who would do that? You need to have a data analyst, data scientist. How much do they charge? Minimum 100K. It's a very sophisticated job. Now imagine if you put an Excel spreadsheet in a system and it analyzes everything for you, saying that these are the 10 customers who have equity more than $250,000. These are the 10 customers who are on very bad interest rate. These are the 10 customers whose fixed interest rate is going to expire in the next 3 months. You don't need a data scientist. You don't need data analyst. It's done for you. That's exactly what you need. So we thought, back from the Property Dollar days, we thought in Property Dollar we have this value system that we need to be absolutely customer centric, because we can afford to be customer centric, because we're not backed by any ventures or etc. And we carry that to mortgage brokers, to Connect 360, that we need to be customer centric, and this customer centricity tells us that what they actually need. We can analyze 100,000 things, but these are the 7 to 8 things they actually need that would help. So it's analyzed for them. That's what I mean when I say it's analyzed for them.
And so that's, and yes, okay. So just to expand on that, so you plug in Connect 360 to your CRM, or you get everything uploaded into Connect 360, and it's going to tell you immediately, here are your top opportunities, contacts, things like that you should make. And it could be, in all those examples you just gave, it could be fixed interest expiring, rates aren't very good, or whatever.
Yeah. So you can do a data dump. So
Yep.
we call it data dump. So export your data in a spreadsheet. You own that data. And a lot of mortgage brokers, they have this fear that they don't own the data. They own the data, not their CRM, not Microsoft. They own the data. Right? So you can do a data dump and then put it on Connect 360, and we can help you with the onboarding. Once the onboarding is done, within 5 minutes, it'll tell you everything. It's that easy.
And that's fantastic. It needs to be easy. I mean, I think you're onto something there, which is, big data had its run, and now it's big data plus AI, or AI-driven stuff that's using big data, obviously. But it's the smarts now that tools are providing, where it can tell you things that you would have otherwise had to have gone and hired a data scientist or someone to, extrapolate that out of your data. So this is the cool part of, I guess, the next phase in maybe mortgage broking and finance and other industries, where we're getting all these tools that are now going to be enablers for people. So here's a question, and hopefully you have an example maybe of a mortgage broker or a client that you've helped recently, because I get this from time to time. People come to the IFBF and they love what we do and they love what we're talking about, and invariably I will get a broker asking me, or saying to me, I haven't talked to my clients in a while, and I'm not sure, what should I do about that? Now, I mean, my first response is usually, we'll just pick up the phone and say, hi, how's everything going? I mean, there's no harm in just simply calling someone and going, how you doing, right? But if you now were to say, let's grab all my data, put it into Connect 360, and now I can say, I'm going to call this client, let me look up and see what's going on with that client, and give them something really useful, like your interest rate's too high or whatever. Then, despite the fact that you might not have called them in a while, and they might be a bit pooey about that, as soon as you say, well, I'm going to save you 1% on your interest rate, they're going to forget about all that, right? And be very happy with you again. So where I'm going to with this question is, have you had some experience where brokers, maybe with that scenario, who have gone, I haven't talked to my client base in a long time, have now embraced the idea of a retention strategy, have implemented your product, and have now, I mean, you gave the example monetarily of the $44,000, but is there any story or feedback that you've had when you've rolled out this product to someone where they've got just the client gratitude or that re-engagement with a client, and it's not monetary, but it will be eventually?
We have plenty.
Is there one that stands out?
Yeah, I'll pick one. The reason I'll pick one is not because of the monetary thing, because I can put my marketing flair on it.
Sure.
If I may. So, in dealing with customers, mortgage brokers are not salespeople, right? And when it comes to salespeople, they're trained, they're nurtured to pick up the phone and have conversation no matter what. And the reason for that is they have killed the bias that what's going to happen if I call. And that's very important for any business person, right?
When you say killed the bias, just before you move on to what you're going to
Yes.
say next, that's a really interesting comment. So what do you mean by killed the bias?
So
like assuming they're going to react in a certain way and not caring?
Yes. Okay. So they're cognitive biases, right? Mm-hmm. So a very polished salesperson, a very successful salesperson wouldn't care about the no. Wouldn't care about, because that person has listened to no so many times, right? They take it very tactfully. And they will just pick up the phone and they will follow it very tactfully, like a doctor is entering into a surgical operation, and they know exactly step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. It is kind of challenging for someone who is not from a sales background, and rightly so. Someone from a finance background or someone from a mortgage broking background, and then you touched on this one, right? And they go like, I don't know if I want to call this person again. I mean, we did a good loan, but the guy was he's difficult to deal with, right? But if that particular person, if that mortgage broker starts thinking like a sales guy, like a business person, that bias is gone, right? And the quickest way, and that mortgage broker person, we can't train that person to become a salesperson. It will take months, years of sales training, right? The quickest way to do that is through data, right? And once you equip the mortgage broker with data, then a mortgage broker can think, oh my God, okay, hold on for a second. I know that guy is difficult to deal with, but if I'm going to save him another $500 a month and increase his borrowing capacity by $50,000, he's happy, I'm happy. Now, mortgage brokers, because he has got access to data, analyze data, actionable insights, he's not thinking, he's difficult to deal with. Now the conversation shift. That's the power of technology and data.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think, and interestingly, that comment about mortgage brokers they're not trained in sales. Yes. I broadly agree with that. It's rare that I see someone who was in sales going into a mortgage broking role. It's usually something else, right? And the ones who are good at sales or pick up on that quickly, as you say, don't worry about the bias. They just make the call, and then whatever happens, happens. It's probably a good. It's good to say now at this point that if you are listening to this and you're a mortgage broker and you're thinking, I'm not great at sales, let's go out and find, someone who can give you some sales training. There's tons of courses out there to do that.
You know what, PJ? We are working in technology. And Vishal, myself, Naseem, who is the head of product, we are speaking with 4 to 5 companies who are working in AI every month. We see their technology. If you want to stand out in a crowded market, the first thing you need to do is learn sales. Don't buy Connect 360. Go do a course. Go do a course from Daniel Pink. He's an excellent sales guy. He's from States. Okay. I've actually followed him a lot. Go do a negotiation course from Chris Voss, who was the FBI negotiator.
Yep.
Spend some money.
Yeah.
Do that, because, and if I can use this example over here for mortgage brokers, my mentor taught me this about marketing to create a brand. So there are 2 concepts of creating a great brand, right? Concept number 1 is you tell the whole world what you stand for, but you also tell the world what you stand against. If you cover these two, you will build up a brand. Right? People would know that this guy like this, doesn't like this. That's part one. Part two, there are a lot of comedians, okay? And they all crack jokes. There are a lot of musicians. They all play good music. But if you have a comedian who plays an excellent guitar while he's delivering comedy, that's an interesting one. So in the world of technology, AI, and crowded market, it's not just you got to be good at what you do, you got to be very interesting at what you do. And the best way to become very interesting is to improve your sales skill.
I love that. I love that analogy of the guitar playing comedian. That's very unique. I think it's really worth, again, highlighting to our audience, which is broadly mortgage brokers, but really it wouldn't matter what audience it was. But it is that the tool is probably only as good as the person who's deploying it.
Yes.
So I have no skill in building whatsoever. And if you handed me a hammer and said, go and build me a house, I would be like, okay, I'm not even sure where to start. But if you trained me as a builder and handed me a hammer, I'd be like, cool, I know exactly what to do. And so the point I'm making here is that you might have a great tool set that gets you to the answer quicker, which is kind of what you're saying. And I think I agree. Again, we'll see technology evolving to getting those really quick, answers on stuff. But at the end of the day, and correct me if you think I'm wrong on that, people still want to deal with people and are still going to engage a person and appreciate the human touch.
Can I give you an example?
Please.
Okay. So back in the days when I was doing my MBA, I was working part-time at this luxury store called, what was the name? It was a luxury store selling men's suit.
Okay.
And when I say luxury, the opening price was $3,260, right? Merino wool, beautiful suits, absolutely beautiful. And that was the same time when the online shopping was at its peak. Post was delivering at a higher rate. Amazon was coming in, and everyone was like, what's the point of actually going to a store and talking to a retail person, right? And I was working in the store at that time. There was this guy called Len. He's probably mid-60s. And Len was very good in telling the story about suits. And he had a clientele. He knew each and every person's jacket size. He's 52 long, that's 48 small. He knew everything. And I would just sit, and the way he talks, I would just listen to it, right? And it's quite an expensive transaction, PJ, right? And you can do that safely online as well. They had an online store. But we used to get people inside the store saying that, where's Len? Len is not here. I can help you. No, Len looks after me. Len looks after me. No amount of technology in the God's green earth can replace that. He looks after me. She looks after me. That's it. If you create your aura, your business model around you look after your client, there's no technology can replace you. Unless AI starts doing that. Then it will replace you.
I still think we're a long way from that. I mean, AI astounds me every day that I use it. I just think I'm definitely living in the matrix and I'm asleep and this is not real. But
have you checked the simulation theory?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
That we're all living in a simulation, you mean?
Yeah.
I've heard this, yeah.
When you go home, just have
a look. Now, just to wrap up, I know you wanted to maybe demo the property dollar stuff, whatever. I don't know that this format's going to work very well for that, but here's what I'll offer you the opportunity to do, and that is if you want to put a little video together or something that we can tack on to this interview that walks through Property Dollar and Connect 360 as a demo, we'd be very happy to do that.
Yeah,
or
sure.
a link to that we'll be able to put into this into the podcast page and stuff. I think that would be the best way to do it, is have you guys actually put some thought into what do we really want to show people,
to.
because I think there's a lot of value that clearly people can get out of using this product. Any final things you want to cover off or discuss today while you're here?
The only thing I would say in the context of our topic for this one is acquisition seems easy, but it's expensive. Retention seems difficult, but it's cost effective and more profitable, and it compounds. If it was easy, everyone would do it. So if you want to stand out in a very crowded market, work on your retention, because not everyone is doing it.
I think that's a great way to finish. And I mean, I can add to that personal experience, which is when I focused on, and this was a few years ago when we went through some really tough times, during COVID. And when I focused on and got focused on just looking after my existing clients and making sure they were happy and being looked after and had any concerns met, the business survived that period of time and then thrived off the back of that. So I think, from all the things we've discussed today, you've used the R word a number of times, which is retention. And I think it's a great way to finish, which is to say, if you are uncertain right now as a mortgage broker about how to grow your business, have a look at retention as a strategy and see if that adds to your bottom line, as it did that one client who generated $40,000+ in new commission just by implementing a retention strategy. Yep. And with that, we can wrap up. Thank you again for joining us on the IFBF podcast.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
You're welcome.
Mortgage brokers, get your loan book to work for you. Use Connect 360, a tool designed to help you analyze your customer data and identify opportunities for refinancing and upselling. Use AI to generate new leads and opportunities from your own database. Boost your customer lifetime value by getting actionable insights into their current loans and live equity positions. Avoid clawbacks by using technology to help manage your clients better, and retain existing customers by offering data-driven solutions to empower them in their property journey. Connect 360, an easier way to acquire new clients, retain existing clients, and grow your business.